Hi, this is Carl with another SOP video for managed service providers. And today I want to talk about clients these days and how that's not really your clients. Let me explain. So I recently saw a number of presentations that were sales oriented. And time again, people use the phrase clients these days. And then they would say things like, clients these days, they expect you to be monitoring Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn for tech support. Clients these days, they refuse to use the phone and they insist that you have a chatbot. Or clients these days are just plain lazy and they don't want to do this and they don't want to do that. Whenever you hear the phrase, clients these days, you need to remember we're not talking about your clients. Your clients are something that you have a great deal of control over. Here's what I mean. You should absolutely start with your ideal client. And I've talked about this many times. I've got chapters on it in books. I've got videos on it. Your ideal client is somebody who you have defined separate and prior to doing business. And if you don't have an ideal client, that actually is one of the reasons why you may be struggling more than you need to in order to have good clients, make good money, and provide spectacular service. Service doesn't exist in a vacuum. So when I think about ideal clients, I love the example of airlines, right? If you're a Southwest flyer, then you know that you don't get food on the airplane, you don't get electricity on the airplane, you don't get to determine your seat 3 weeks or 3 months before you get on the airplane. If you're a Delta flyer, you expect all of those things. And the airlines promote themselves to a specific kind of buyer. I travel a lot, so I'm never going to take a flight overseas where they don't provide food, they don't provide electricity, and I can't pay an extra $50 and get a better seat. But that's me, right? Somebody else would love to just have a cheap airfare. So the airlines focus on specific prospects. So when people talk about clients these days, they're frequently talking about your prospects and what your prospects might want. Now, of course, they're also using a stereotype. They're using data that tells them the average response or the average indication or the most frequent desires of clients these days. But if you've defined your ideal client, then you can just be who you want to be, do what you want to do, run your business your way, and you will have attracted to you clients who like doing business your way. Recently, I was at a CompTIA event in Chicago, and I got a chance to go to the Goat Tavern, which, if you haven't been there, you walk in and they're pretty gruff, like a billy goat. And they immediately, they tell you before you even order, they say, look, we have Coke, not Pepsi. We have chips, not fries. And by that, they mean you can buy a bag of Lay's potato chips. You can't buy fries. Don't ask for fries. They got a very short menu. Don't ask for an Impossible burger. It's impossible for you to get one there. They sell real meat. So if you're a vegetarian, this is not going to be your restaurant. You want sauerkraut? Go somewhere else. Right? They will sell you what they will sell you. Very short list. They don't care if you don't like that. And they recommend you get the cheeseburger. That's it. And of course they have beer, which is sold separately. You can't order beer where you order your food. It's a very different kind of restaurant. On the other hand, of all the restaurants in Chicago, it's one of only a handful that people who don't live in Chicago could actually name the restaurant. And so they have an ideal client. And they don't care if clients these days want Impossible Burgers, and clients these days want a gluten-free option, and clients these days want this, and clients these days want that. Their clients are very specifically defined. People go there for gruff service where there are not very many options. And if you like that kind of food, then it's spectacular. So they don't have to worry about clients these days. They only have to worry about prospects. And the prospects are those who say, I will be willing to try that. I will be willing to do that. I will be willing to take a chance. So when you think about your IT company, you should know who your clients are. And even if you don't yet have an ideal client, when you look at your clients, they know how you operate, how to get a ticket in the system, whether or not you answer your phone, whether or not it's faster to get a ticket in by using the little widget in the right-hand corner of their screen, or calling you, or texting, or emailing. They know how to get a ticket into your system. They also know your billing processes, your meeting schedule with, if you do quarterly business reviews or roadmap meetings. They know how you invoice. They know how you bill for monthly services, right? They know all kinds of stuff about how you do business. So unless you're afraid that they suddenly want something else, then don't worry about clients these days, except as prospects. And that's the key thing. Clients these days, when people use that term, they're really defining who your possible prospects are. Back when I had an IT company and we were marketing locally in Sacramento, California, I would go to various events and I had a sign that basically said, if you have 10 or more employees, we can save you money on IT support. That did a couple of things for me. Obviously, it told people that I did IT support, but it also put up a little red velvet rope. People who had 2 computers, people who had 1 employee, didn't come into my booth. They did not fit my model of an ideal client. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing, it's just a thing. I knew who I was marketing to. I marketed to those people. When they came to me, they knew that they were talking to somebody who deals with a specific size clientele. So think about action steps. Who are your ideal clients? And if you don't have them, how will you define them? It's really a very, very powerful tool for your business when you define an ideal client. And to be honest, another action step is take advice with a grain of salt, except mine, of course. But when you hear people speaking on stage and saying, this is what clients want, this is what people are asking for, this is what you have to do. And we heard this whole thing with millennials and hiring. Oh, these people refuse to show up for work, and you know they need a 4-hour day, and you got to pay them $75 an hour, and da 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 da. Well, none of that is true, right? When you look at statistics, remember they're talking about reporting some numbers, trying to get a picture of the big picture. But any given client on any given day is going to be a very specific individual with individual needs, individual requirements, and an individual personality that may or may not fit with your business model. So just remember, take clients these days with a grain of salt, and it goes a long ways if you can define your ideal client and build your business for that ideal client. That way, when you find them, you can attract the ideal client. You can do business with the ideal client. They're going to love you because you're basically fulfilling the promises of your marketing material, and you're going to love them because they're your ideal client. Side note, we're going to switch up the format a little bit here. I'm going to try to do a video every other week, and I appreciate your format. Share this if you got any value out of it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tell your friends about it. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Polachuk, wishing you the best of luck in your managed service business.